third time, and hopefully this time we're working out. We are situated. I've got the camera situated on a tripod. I'm going to have this really, really quick conversation. I want to talk about manifestation real quick, and I'm actually going to answer a question, and I think this is really important, specifically for the question asked, but also in like the ideals, the ideas, and the meanings that we attach to things. And so this is going to be really, really important what I'm going to talk about. So a few days ago, I posted a picture under my community section. Hey, Tracy. Here I am. I posted a picture a few days ago under my community section. And under the community section, I forgot what I was talking about in the picture. And it really doesn't matter. Something about manifestation, and because always, right? And someone commented and said, do you worry that, not do you worry. She said, I don't want to lie on her. Let me try to get the words together. She said, thank you so much for all you do. You have helped us and you explain stuff in ways that other people can't. My question for you is something along the lines of, do you think we need to be in more holistic bodies in order to manifest, create, etc., etc.? We are back. Because, girl, I was really struggling over here for a minute with this. I was like, girl, what you doing? This impromptu live was very impromptuing. It was definitely doing what it was supposed to do, impromptu. I was like, no, you're going to have to fix it a little bit. You got to fix it a little bit. Okay. So she basically said, don't you think we need to be in more holistic bodies in order to manifest? And she said, and I'm not being funny because I too am overweight. And I was like, what she mean, I too? You have to know me to know. What she mean, I too? I was like, I don't think I'm overweight. So I kind of giggled, and I did not take it personally. So like, nobody go say anything to her because I did not take it personal. In general, people can only view the world through the lens in which they view the world. So typically, whatever issues people have with you are issues with themselves. They're mirrors to themselves, right? And so if we have a problem with, people for whatever reason, there's a fear or ideal that exists within us that's really the problem. So when you know that, you tend not to take things like that personally. But I thought that was a very valid question, in that a lot of people believe that. So I want to talk about it. So everything in this world is attached to meaning, okay? If you get nothing else from this live, I want you to get that piece. Everything in this world is attached to meaning, how we feel about it. What is the meaning that we have put on it? Everything. And so for her, the meaning that she has put on having any weight, the meaning she has put on, being overweight, attractiveness, etc., is a negative one. And so a few questions, right? So if you are a person that have a belief that you can't manifest if, and it includes anything about who you are, number one, there's a disconnect between who you are and God. And every holy book tells you that God lives in you as you. God lives in you as you. So whether you are fat, skinny, medium, big booty, big titties, big stomach, big feet, missing toe, missing fingers, one arm, whatever you got going on, you are a reflection of who God is. And so when she asked the question, for me, it felt weird. Number one, because I don't see myself as being anything other than attractive. And thus, my surroundings exhibit that. I literally, I don't have an issue dating, having men or women or whoever the hell want to, end up approaching. I don't have a problem with my personal attractiveness, right? And so when I read it, I was like, oh, she has a problem with my weight. For her, being thin is attached to being holistic. But then my question is, who told you that? Who told you that? Where did you get the idea that being holistic and holy had something to do with your weight? If God exists in you as you, that's just like saying because you don't have no edges. Because that's just like saying if you don't have anything, or if you have a disease, or if you caught COVID, or if any of those things, like don't you think you need to be more holistic, right? If God exists in you, whoever you are, however you are, that you are the view of God, right? The only time your weight, or you're not having edges, or you're not having a limb, or you're not, having whatever, or you not standing up to what society's standard of beauty is, which is interesting because again, everything's about how you feel about it. And what I'm grateful for is I grew up in a household, and my environment has always reflected to me how beautiful I am. So I think I'm a gorgeous person. I love my body. I love my shape, no matter what it looks like, whether it's a size 16 or whether it's a size 6. I think I look amazing, right? So because I think I look amazing, I don't have any problem manifesting anything, from men to houses to money to health to food to drink to warehouses to employees to good sleep to good health. I don't have a problem manifesting anything because it's connected to how I feel about me. Now, if you feel you are overweight and you have attached negative meanings and feelings to what you look like, you're going to experience something different. Now, this is what's really important, and this is why I want you guys to get this piece, because everything's about the meaning you attach to it. Thus, your meaning connects to your feeling about it. So I think I'm beautiful. I think I am, like, honestly, I'd be looking in the mirror like, you a bad girl. I forgot I was on live. I can't say that. But I just be, I be feeling me. I really be feeling me. And don't let myself be newly, freshly waxed. I really be turned on to me. Okay? So everything's about how you feel about it. So if you have if you look in the mirror and you feel like, oh my God, I don't like my this and I don't like my that, and oh my God, this is my problem, then you are going to have a problem manifesting, but not because of that thing, because of the frequency in which you move. You are literally living, operating, breathing, thinking on a low vibrational frequency. Because when we think about high vibration versus a low vibration, high vibration is love. God, love, being ecstatic, being happy, being abundant, being joyful. Even contentment is better than, oh, I feel bad about who I am. So the reason you struggle with manifesting has nothing to do with your weight and everything to do with you and how you think and how you perceive yourself and the meanings in which you have attached to weight. And so that's the real issue. And that's where I suggest therapy for people, because I think a big problem is when we don't like ourselves. And it's okay. You can love yourself and be working to be better. Where if you feel like you have a weight issue and you don't like yourself, you can literally say, you know what, I want to be the most holistic version and healthy version of me, whatever that means. But who told you it meant skinny? Because there are skinny people with heart problems, with cancer, who are unhappy, who are depressed. And for you, you may look at me and say, I'm overweight, but I'm happy as fuck. Excuse me. As stuck. Live stream. Okay, we won't monetize this one. I'm happy. And so for me, everything I touch turn to gold. Everything. But I like me. And I haven't attached any negative meaning to who Stephanie is as a person. What Stephanie looks like, how she shows up. A lot of people don't like my attitude. I think I'm funny. I think I'm funny and I'm brilliant. So I like me. Right? And I don't know if that is because, even growing up, I think I've talked about this in some lives. I remember being in high school and people being like, you think you all that? And people want to fight me. And I had to learn how to, regardless of how you feel about me, because you don't like me because they like me. Don't be mad with me because I'm fine. Don't be mad with me because I'm fine. So I had to learn how, in the midst of how people feel about me, way before I learned about manifestation, I had to learn how, in the midst of how people feel about me, for me to continue to feel good about me. And something magical happens when you love yourself and you feel good about you. When you love yourself and you feel good about you, people will not like it if they don't feel good about themselves. but you will continue to touch everything and manifest it. Everything you will touch will turn to gold. Everything you touch is prosperous. So the answer to your question is, do you have to be in a more holistic body? Well, what is more holistic? I think the answer is you have to be in a more holistic mind, and where your thought process is right now is not in a holistic mind, nor is it in the mind of God, because a God-like mind is not looking at anyone and saying they're not enough, they should do this, they should do that, because it's not the mind of judgment. And even in judgment, that's a lower vibrational frequency. So when we talk about manifestation, manifestation is, a lot of times people ask specific things. How do I manifest this? How do I manifest that? How do I do this? How do I do that? When you should be asking, how do you live a life where you literally are you embody what God is, meaning you speaking, you move mountains, meaning if you touch this, this will turn to gold, it's going to be successful, meaning that only health can reside in you, and meaning that you aren't looking at other people and deciding they aren't good enough, and because you think they're not good enough, because you're projecting, you can't figure out how and why they have been successful, can create, etc., etc. I hope this is making sense to you guys. I wasn't paying attention to that. I saw some of the comments as they were popping up, but I wasn't paying super attention just because I don't want to get distracted. But I saw that as I was here in the warehouse working, and I was like, you know what? I want to come have a conversation, because too often do we stop ourselves from creating and manifesting and having and really being in a space where we are living joyful lives, because we have decided that who we are doesn't fit the standard that the society and the culture in which you live in tells you is good enough. But you have to be a person that where you live, you know you good enough, even if the people around you don't think you good enough. Here's the truth. Here's the truth. The reason I am as successful as I am is because I embody success. When I look in the mirror, I see a gorgeous Black woman who is highly intelligent, highly successful. Baby, she walked by and you be like, oh, it's something about her. She's sexy, she's gorgeous, and she's the embodiment of God. Everything she touches is successful. Everyone who touches her is successful as well, because of the frequency that she is emitting out into the world. These are important things. And if you start looking at yourself and speaking power over yourself and power over your life, you would never look at anybody else and say, well, don't you have to be in a more holistic body? I think what irritated me more than like, oh, because I'm overweight too. And I was like, well, wait, she said because she overweight too. Who the hell overweight? Because I ain't overweight. I'm just who I am, right? I think what bothered me more about that, though, is the word holistic. Because who gave you that word and said that word means any particular thing other than being one with the universe and flowing with that, whatever that is? You know, standards of beauty shift with time. When so I'm 40, and I remember in my 20s, in like late teens, 20s, in the heyday, or early 20s probably, the heyday of supermodels, it was like stick thin boy type figures is what they call it, like track bodies, runners, just thin, no boobs, no booty, like it was the heyday. Then we slowly started moving into like the Kardashian phase, right? I remember being in school, and in my earlier years, I was in predominantly white schools until I went to private school. And I remember being thin with a big booty, and then people having an issue with my booty. Now booties are popular, right? Like if you got a booty, you popping. Everybody want a little dump now, right? But back then, booties weren't popular in the 90s. It wasn't popular. And see, this is why you have to be like, nah, I ain't say they started it. No. But they popularized it. We're going to have to be honest and say they are who made people who didn't have booties want booties. Because my booty been big, and my booty ain't a little big. My booty big. My body is the personification of a Black African booty. Don't, okay? I'm made like that. I'm literally made like a Coke bottle. Big boobs, small waist, big booty. On a picture she commented on, you couldn't really see my body because I had a sweater on, but I was at a Buddhist temple and my boobs was out, and I wanted to be respectful of a culture, right? I wanted to be respectful of the location that I was in. And so I purposely went to my car and got a shawl to cover my body up, because baby, they was gonna be looking, because I was looking at me. So I purposely went and got a shawl to cover my body up. So I'm not saying that they started booty, but them being on TV, they are who popularized. That's when they became the start of getting everybody getting BBWs, was the Kardashian period. Regardless of how you feel about the Kardashians, half of y'all who wanted booty didn't even want to start, would never have even thought about going down to the Dominican and get booty. You was happy with who you are, even if it's like, man, I wish I had a little more booty. Now everybody and their mama, regardless of ethnicity, wants some ASS. Okay? It's just what it is. But I had booty before. I lived through a period where if you had booty, you were fat. People went to school. Please be glad, Anna. Like, nothing wrong with your body. I wish people would accept who they are, and I think that's the ultimate problem. But I'll get back to that. I lived through a period where being like the supermodel period, and then we started moving into that period, and then we got video model. Even video models weren't. The video models today would have been considered fat at that time. Then I started living through Kardashian started their shows, and then they started getting all these extra surgeries and all these extra things. And now it is popularized. Now all of a sudden it's popular, and everybody and their mama want it, especially in American culture, because I don't see this as much in Europe, and I definitely don't see it as much in Asia, and I travel a lot. So when I say see it, I mean with my eyes on the land, right? I don't see it as much. This is a very American thing, or this, I guess we'll say Western Hemisphere. Should we call it Western Hemisphere? Northern, the Western cultures, not hemisphere, cultures, Western cultures. So now I can definitely say now the standard of beauty has shifted. So if you continue to take your life and judge your ability to manifest and create based upon what's considered holistic and what's considered beautiful and what's considered healthy based in that culture, every decade you're going to be shifting and changing to keep up with what somebody else tells you is beautiful. And this is why we learned early in the 80s and the 90s to love us, whether we had big booties, small booties, big chest, small chest. The important thing is to love and accept yourself for who you are, as you are. And when you really do that, you will understand that manifesting has nothing to do with what you look like, but who you are, how you think, how you feel, and how you move and operate in this world. Everything is connected to how you feel, how you think, and how you move and operate in the world. So more than anything, the term holistic is what aggravated me, because it's like, well, who told you that was holistic? Where did you get this standard that you had to be a certain size in order to manifest? It's an absolute lie. It's an absolute lie. Look at Lizzo. People are so disturbed by Lizzo's body, right? She can do what she want to do. People are so disturbed by Lizzo's body, and she's definitely not have a standard of beauty that right now in American culture today, or any culture, would tell you is gorgeous today. Right? Because they're looking at her body, right? So they're saying to them, they have a problem with the amount of adipose tissue that exists on her body. Has that stopped her from manifesting anything? Because Lizzo likes Lizzo. Lizzo likes how Lizzo looks. So much that she like, here go my booty, look at it and kiss it. Everything is connected to how you feel about it. So I said all this, I did this 20-minute live to tell you, I don't care if you're fat, skinny, big booty, no booty, big titties, no titties, big stomach, no stomach. If little penis, big penis, edges, no edges, fingers, no fingers, whatever your thing is, you are made and created not just in the image of God, but God lives, breathes, and exists in you, through you. And when you recognize that and you start moving and believing and thinking holistically, because that's where that really connects, then you are a walking demonstration of what's possible through God. You are a walking demonstration of what's possible when you know who you are and whose you are. You are a walking demonstration Regardless of what other people think, feel, and believe about anything, that you can debunk that. There are other people who are just at the same size as Lizzo, who can't manifest nothing and go forever put it on the fact, oh, it's my body. If you don't like your body, change it. Because that's the real problem. The real problem is you don't like you. Other people don't like Lizzo and can't stop nothing. She around here blowing her flute. She out here blowing her flute and living her life. And so you can blow your flute and live your life too. The only thing stopping you is your beliefs and the meaning you have attached to what you look like. When you can look in the mirror and say, I am a gorgeous specimen. Oh, baby. You'll start noticing other people around you feel the same. I was on many yachts this summer. I'm talking billionaire yachts. I've been back here. Today make 2 weeks. I've been back home. I spent 8 weeks out here summering in Europe on all the yachts and with my two-piece on, and was told how beautiful and how sexy I am. I can't even tell you. I'm laughing because one specific guy that I met, it wasn't until, and I didn't do his yacht, but it wasn't until I went back to my house, my apartment that I had for the summer. And I was laughing at the conversation that I was like, did he just whisper that in my ear? And I was laughing with a friend about it. He gave me his card and I pulled out his card and I was like, girl, he a diplomat. This man is a diplomat. And he did tell me, he did say that he was a diplomat, but you know, I be like, oh, people are always trying to like hype themselves up to be something they not. Like, and I laughed. I was also a little drunk. Just left it couple, you know, it don't take but a couple glasses for me, glasses of wine. And I'm out here because I don't drink a lot. So I was laughing about it. Even in that, do you know how many times I've heard people say that if you are not super skinny and you don't fit the standard of beauty, wealthy men don't approach you? Lies. 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 Because more important is how you feel about you. That's way more important than what anybody else tell you about you. So if you are struggling to manifest because you're overweight, it's about you and your feelings about being overweight. All right. Hope you guys get that. Everything's about meaning. So you have to, if you find something that even if you find yourself questioning it in somebody else, typically it's because you're questioning it in you. And allow that to reflect to you. Allow that to be a mirror. Allow that to be something where you sit down and say, where is this coming from? You're so very welcome. You know, allow that to say why is this something that is bothering me or that I notice? Everything can be a learning opportunity for you, right? And so if you begin to notice that, you know, something about somebody else is bothering you and you sit back and say, okay, one that's big amongst people is, yeah, I am not going to tell you what that man said. I'm not going to tell you because I'm actually still in touch with him. I'm not going to tell y'all what that man said. But it was a little dirty. It's like, and it caught me off guard because I didn't know we was flirting. I thought you was just like, oh, hi. Also, I'm a little slow when it comes to like that kind of stuff because I'm super friendly. So I think people be being friendly too. And it usually is I'm late before I find out this was more than that. I also end up in relationships I don't know I'm in sometimes. I think we just friend. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation for another day. But this is why I'm not reading the comments because I want to get off on what I was saying. Shoot, I forgot. Okay, well, forget it. I was saying something. But I forgot. This is why I'm going to leave these comments alone. Okay, so, yeah, just also, I know I was going to say, a lot of people have a problem with wealthy people, right? And I'm talking, I see it all the time. I see it in comments about CEOs who making 30 million. I see it, like, I just always see it. And people, how people feel about things is a reflection of who they are and how they feel. Really, the big issue is people are mad they don't have the money. Because if you had a job that paid you 30 million, you would never make that statement, right? And so when you notice something that really irks your spirit, sit down and get honest with why. And sometimes you have to keep digging, because we are so used to telling surface-based lies. No, I just don't want them to make 30 million and it's poor people. That ain't the real problem. Keep digging. Keep digging. Because when we can get clear on why something bothers you, mean to tell me what other people choose to do with their money bother you that much? Well, you don't have no business of your own. You are lying. This is triggering you for a reason. And so you have to get really, like, everybody don't have a coach. Everyone don't have someone to say, you a lie, let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. Like, I'm the person, I'm going to keep pushing the buttons until we get to what the real problem is that you don't really want to admit. Because if you admit that, you'll admit how you feel about yourself. You'll admit that every little thing is about you. So typically, people are mad that they're not wealthy. They're mad that they feel like somebody else had an opportunity that they didn't have, which is not true, by the way. I don't care how you try to fix it. You have access to everything when you believe truly that God is in you as you. And you know you have access to everything. Abundance is around you, in you. You have access to everything. So if we start taking it as a learning opportunity when things start bothering us about other people, if we sit back and say, okay, what does this mean about me? What does this mean? What am I really feeling? This is when we can start growing. This is when we can start building more emotional intelligence as well. We can start growing as human beings when we are honest. Most often we are not honest. We are liars, and it's very sad because we lie to ourselves. You're not even necessarily lying to other people. We lie to ourselves. I was talking to a friend the other day about something, and she was just lying, and she was telling a very surface-based lie, and I'm like, you are lying. And I had been quiet for a very long time about it because sometimes I let people have whatever they want to have to make them be able to cope with what's happening in life right then. But after a while, if you ask my opinion, I'm gonna have to tell you the truth. I'm gonna have to tell you, you are lying. This is what's really going on. Now tell me I'm lying. You know this is what's going on, right? Sometimes, if you don't have a person in your life who can be that for you, and most people don't want that, by the way. Most people don't want that. Most people don't want to see and embrace where they fucked up. I said I wasn't gonna curse. I keep doing it. People don't want to embrace where they have messed up or where they have created something. But until you can do that, you can't create the new. Until you can recognize that your current beliefs get you where you are, you can't create anything new. Until you can recognize that your beliefs about the person is wealthy, the person is fat, the person is skinny, the person with big boobs, the person with big boobs, whatever it is, till you can admit that, you can't even do anything else. Because you are living in a bed of lies. You are laying in a bed of lies all day, every day. All right, so that's my message for today. I wanted to do that. I actually did do a little reply, but sometimes things are come over. I feel like I can explain deeper when I'm like opening my mouth and speaking about it. Being holistic has nothing to do with what you look like, and being holistic is about who you are. About who you are. And you can manifest no matter who you are. And I did another live about this once before. If you do a study on tyrants who were really successful until they weren't, if you do it, you will notice that there is a commonality between tyrants and successful people. And the commonality is that they believe wholeheartedly in whatever it is they're talking about. They believe you can't even break them. And people are like, how come evil people have it well? I remember growing up hearing, well, they don't. It just seems that way. Well, actually they do. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they don't believe they're evil. Again, everything's about the meaning you attach to it. So if you're doing something and you feel like you are doing it because it was a mission from God and that's what you're supposed to be doing, you don't think you're wrong. You don't think you're wrong. There are people, and this is an extreme example, and you guys won't agree, and that's fine. And I'm going to use this extreme example because I know, like, I don't believe in the death penalty usually. And I'm saying usually for the example I'm going to give you. But for people who hurt children, I just need you to go and die. And I probably want to make sure you die. Okay? For me. That's how I feel about it. I feel like people who hurt children should die. But I want you to understand that there are people, parents, brothers, sisters, children who are attached. This could be someone's mother, father, brother, sister who love them and don't think they should die. So just like there's a group of people who think they should die and you weren't wrong for killing them, there's a group of people who think you were. It's the same thing. And if you don't think you're wrong for it, likely, especially as long as you don't get caught, life is fine for you. You did it and you moved on about your business. That's an extreme example, but I use that because most people have similar beliefs as I do around children. I think that's a very polarizing thing, right? That's very polarizing, and most people have similar beliefs around hurting children, right? So I feel like that's something you could understand. If you walk in and you see someone, example, this lady right now, I saw she's in like the DMV area. Her husband is like a police officer, a sergeant or something like that. And she found out, she owns a daycare, and she found out he was hurting the children at the daycare. And I want to say she shot him. Now he lived, but they arrested her. Now me, I'm like, oh, free sis, free her, because she probably snapped, but you also can't hurt children. Free her. There are other people who are saying she didn't have the right to do that. There are other people who feel completely different. So understand that we feel like she ain't did nothing wrong. There are going to be they arrested her. Yeah, they definitely arrested her because she shot him. Yeah, it just happened. This probably happened a week ago. There are other people who feel differently. Everything, though, is about the feeling in which you attach to the thing that has happened, the thing is that you're doing. So think of the word meaning. Everything's about the meaning you have attached to it. Everything in life. And if you can recognize that, you'll understand there's no one who can't have anything that they want. And the only reason you can't is because you've decided you aren't good enough. Everything lies with worthiness. Your worthiness. And I decided a long time ago that I'm worthy of everything. I know God did not have me come into this earth with caviar taste buds for me to have to eat Spam unless I just won't eat it. I know good and well it's no way, because what we desires us. It's no way. I really am this person. You can lay 5 things down and I'm gonna go to the one that I'm like, oh, this one pretty. It is always not the one that you want it to be. It's always the expensive. You know what I'm saying? I know I didn't come to the earth like that. For me to live a life of simply desiring, that meant God desired for me to have it. And so I knew I could have it. So if there's anything you desire and you feel like you ain't good enough, that is about your worthiness issue and not the fact that you really aren't good enough. I'm going to shut up now. I wonder if this go keep the comments, because I need to go do some things here in the warehouse and come back through these comments. I don't think it's gonna keep the comments. Definitely air energy. We will flirt ourselves into a relationship. We will just listen, Kesia. I always end up, my friends be laughing at me. They be like, you end up in a whole relationship and don't know it. I was like, wait, I'm in a relationship? No, I'm not. When did I agree to this? I just out here kicking. I need that. I thank God allow you to make this message and I was able to see it. Yes. I just want to say thank you for your videos. You're so welcome. I'm also intending a shorter height. I know you're not supposed to be dwelling on what you don't like, but I don't like my height. Well, you're going to keep your height. So if you know you're not supposed to dwell on what, not even what you like, it's about what you're conscious of. So if there's something wrong with your height, then you know you go constantly have something wrong with your height. She lives a full out on the inside. It's about how you feel on the inside. Exactly. I used to want a BBL. Now I'm glad you don't want that. No way. Ain't nothing wrong with your booty. I plan to manifest a big butt. Go squat. You definitely can get a big butt, but you don't have to risk your life unless you want to. Everything's about what you want to do. But most of the time, it's about what we've been pressured to see as beautiful. Everybody talk about all these agendas. We don't talk about the agenda of beauty standards. The agenda of now everybody want this booty. Why? First off, I be out here mad. Y'all didn't even like booties, and now everybody got a booty. Look, I used to be something special. Now y'all got booty. I guess I still am, because mine is soft and mine. In the white community, remember baby got back. Right. I would have been so uncomfortable being black in an all white school. Really? No, I wasn't uncomfortable at all. I actually, for me personally, I enjoy being in mixed cultures. Um, I am definitely not that person who needs to be in all black environments. And I think if you spend more time, my being in all white environments has taught me that there are more things alike than different, to be honest. And a lot of the things that we are being fed is actually not necessarily true. I tell people all the time, I grew up in predominantly white communities. I still live in a predominantly white community. And I can tell you firsthand that I did not experience racism until I was an adult and I had moved to Dallas, Texas, and it was one occurrence. And like, it's just not been a part of my personal experience. And I grew up, and I knock on wood, I think I've just been around some really amazing people. Do I think racist people exist? Absolutely. But I also think that when you are only around one group of people, you don't know how to exist in a world where there are different types of people. I enjoy being around all sorts of people. Some of my best friends are white, literally. And I hate when white people be like, some of my best friends black, but I mean, it's true, because I mean, I grew up in predominantly white areas. I have really close black girlfriends. I have really close white girlfriends. I have one of my new friends, she's Moroccan. Like, I literally have a rainbow tribe of friends. And I think that when you are a person, like, if that's all you can be around, that really is problematic for existing in the world, because that ain't even real life. I never needed to be in all black environments. Diversity is absolute must. I agree, Clarissa. Like, for me, and I know it's shocking to people, because what we tend to do is we see that commonality. But I'm going to say something, and y'all ain't going to like it. Y'all done already been mad with me on TikTok, Jesus. They done already been mad with me on TikTok, but I'm going to say it anyway. We automatically see other people who are black and we see commonality, but your race does not mean there's commonality necessarily, because what exists within a race is also different cultures within race. No one really wants to talk about that, and that is not what this live is about, and I got stuff to do. But just because we are the same race don't mean there are commonalities, and because we're not doesn't mean there aren't commonalities. And I think that if we all really understood that across all the races, people would be more open to other people, because you would understand that just because we are of a different race doesn't mean we don't have commonalities, and often of same cultures, because race and culture is not the same, by the way. That was one of the big conversations over on TikTok today we're mad about, but race and culture isn't the same. It's just race. Right? I'm a black man, and I agree with you, because the world has different people, so you got to know how to coexist with other. I've met a lot of people who are uncomfortable when around white people. It's so weird. Listen, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama originally, so I'm from the South. So when people be like, how is it being black in Birmingham? I'm like, it's fine. I wasn't born in the 50s. And my mom would have told you, who was born in the 50s, it was fine. But my mother wasn't exposed to any of the things that was happening and going on at the time. So she didn't know as a child. She didn't know what was going on. And then I grew up in a predominantly white area and didn't have any issues. I loved who I was as a black woman, except for I'm looking around and I'm the only one with a big booty. Now I appreciate, but also I think that's a part of being a child, like growth. We tend to feel bad if we have differences, just in general. If we grow up in an all black community, when my mom sent me to an all black private school, and I get to this all black private school, and then I felt bad that I talk like a white person, which forced me to change my language, by the way. And now I hate I ever did that. Now I hate I changed who I was to fit in, right? Because in general, we don't ever want to feel different. And now as a 40-year-old adult whose entire existence has been based on, I can teach you how to create this amazing life because I am different. I think different. I am more aligned with that. I'm able to show people so you can kind of follow along with what does this really look like, because we get so caught up in being the same. And the differences are what make us beautiful, right? And so me having a problem with my booty was more attached to I didn't want to be different than the people who were in my environment. And then I went to a black school where people had more booty, And then I was still different because of my experiences. I was different because of where I lived. I was different because of my experiences in my life. It was just always some differences. And so it's really important for us to realize like that's just a part of growing. But in real life, when I meet people now, I do meet black people from the South and from other places who have never, ever, you're 40, no freaking way. I am. I turned 40 in February 6th. I'm 40. When I meet people now who are intimidated and dare I say afraid of people who aren't black, it's interesting to me. And I think a big disservice has been done only being around people who look like you. Yeah. I would have guessed you were 30 at the oldest. Well, that is a compliment, honey. Listen, Stephanie appreciates that. Absolutely. Where the comments went? Jesus. All right, though. Okay. I've code switched all my life. Still get called white girl in black spaces. So I just talk the way I talk and move on. Listen, I try to tell my son that because when my son got ready to go to traditional school, I mean, you have to realize my son is never going to all black school. And my son has spent most of his life traveling through Europe and Asia. I homeschooled him until the 7th grade. His friends tend to be my friends' kids. And so when he got ready to go to traditional school and there were more kids who looked like him, I had to make sure I tell him, hey, you're going to have to be happy with who you are. Because I remember when he was younger with some kids and they were asking him where he had moved there from. And when he said he moved there from Italy, they were like, Italy, and making fun of him. I was like, baby, these children ain't been nowhere. Don't feel bad about who you are. Your mom works to provide these opportunities and experiences for you. Don't you feel bad for who you are. You are going to wake up one day and realize because you have had these amazing experiences, this makes you such a range. You have a range of experiences. And so I really push that into him. Know who you are, and your having these amazing experiences don't make you any less black. And typically people who make fun of you are jealous because they haven't experienced anything. Just hold on, baby. You go grow to a point and you go have so much pride in your differences. I would love to travel to Japan. I've heard horror stories. You know, my son wants to go to school in Japan. He loves Japanese culture. So I can say this. I have never had a problem in Japan. I can say there are some areas in Asia where I don't think they've seen many people with brown skin. So that's a real thing. But a little bit of that, think about it, is exposure. It's exposure. It's just like one of my white friends recently went to Malawi and she was talking about how like the black kids were like trying to feel her skin because they don't often see white people. It's the same thing. And it's annoying as hell when they do it in Asia. I be like, look, no, get away from me. But it's the same thing when people see someone that looks different than they've never seen it in person. You know, it's real. It's real. And sometimes I think if we can also have empathy for the people and the ignorance, they're ignorant. They don't know any better. And people think of ignorant as a bad word. I don't view ignorant as a bad word. We are all ignorant about certain things. I myself am and have no problem with admitting I don't know something, right? If we can have empathy for that, then that gives us a little bit of leeway. Do you have to? No. But I'm grateful that my white friend had empathy for the little kids in Malawi who, however you pronounce it, who had never seen white skin before and wanted to like touch her face. Because I know that's annoying for me. She would have had every right to be annoyed, but she didn't, and she understood, you know? I also got picked on when I moved to all black school. I didn't fit in. Listen, I felt the same way, actually. The only thing that saved me, and I'm laughing because I know what it's finna sound like, and I'm not joking. Only thing that saved me is that I was fine. And so I always had a boyfriend. I would go to the school, pick the most popular boy, and now you my man, and we good. And no one really messed with me because they wouldn't mess with him. It's not true. That's my truth. That's the only thing that kind of saved me. And I don't know how I learned that survival skill early on. I tell people that all the time. Like, you kind of learn how to survive. But absolutely, I didn't feel like I fit in, which is why I really worked to change how I spoke. I worked to change that. And it's one of my biggest regrets. to be honest. It's one of my biggest regrets was doing that, because nothing was wrong with me. Nothing, right? But it's knowing that, figuring that out. Let's see. Just kind of scrolling through. I think people need to mind the business of being happy with themselves and leave everyone else alone, especially when no one requested your thoughts and opinions. Well, you know, people like to give them. I was reading the book Power of Intention when I got the notification you were live. I love that. I love that. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to go because, like I said, I'm here at the warehouse and I had some stuff I needed to do before it starts raining here, which is why I didn't do too much to myself, because I was like, if I get caught in it. Whew. So anyway, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed today. I know you guys enjoyed today's live. Americans are a minority in my subdivision. Oh Lord, what am I doing? Wait. I lost it. Americans. I saw something about Americans were minorities in the subdivision. I missed it. Oh, there it is. My feelings. There's only the human race. Exactly. Yeah. So, you know what? I would kind of say that too. I have a lot of people from India in my neighborhood, from Asia. Yeah, it's pretty mixed, and I really like that. I really, really like that. And, you know, I really like, so fun fact about my son, he would really hate me saying this, but when my son went to school, he decided he wanted to go to traditional school for 2 reasons. He thought it was time for him to have a girlfriend. Listen, he's Scorpio. I'm very well aware of what I'm dealing with. He decided it was time for him to have a girlfriend, number one. And number two, he wanted some homies. And I was like, homies? You got friends? He was like, no, Mom, I mean black friends. Interesting enough, he came home with no black friends. How funny is that? He came home, he ended up with a friend from the UK, a British friend who had just moved into the neighborhood, a little mixed boy. Like, it was funny. Now he does have like a couple of black friends that he's really connected with. But it was the funniest thing. I said, so son, I was like, and this is why, like, you're worried about having black friends. You want to have friends that connect with who you are, that you have commonalities with. If they're black, great. I get it, but you don't want to just go pick somebody just because of that. So it was a lesson he had to learn, and by the 9th grade, he did end up meeting a couple black friends and stuff, but it was funny. And yes, I can't wait to see those of you, Scorpio, listen, I already know. Listen, when I had him, when I saw that he was due November 19th, I had him on the 15th. When I saw that, I was like, first off, I'm an air sign, so air sign and water signs already. We have found a nice little flow, but I'm surrounded by water signs, which if you know air, you know that ain't always good. My mom's a Cancer. Last couple, one of my boyfriends was a Pisces. One was a Cancer. I won't date water signs anymore at all, though. I knew better when I did, but they have the benefits, certain benefits, but I can't deal. But my son was born on the 15th, and I already knew. I was like, oh goodness, all he could think about is like a girlfriend. I'd be like, baby, can you think about something different? Can you? And I love though that he's honest with me and he is open and can say those things to me, you know? I'm so grateful. Am I a Libra? No, I'm an Aquarius. Oh yeah, so tomorrow is the meetup here in Atlanta. We are meeting up at 2 p.m. Those of you who are coming, I'm really excited to see you. I really hate I saw that girl here in Atlanta had monkeypox yesterday though, because I was like, take out temperature before you come. If you got temperature, do not come there. I don't know nothing. That girl got monkeypox on her face. I ain't like it, y'all. I remember crying when I had chicken pox. So imagine. Take your temperature. Wash your hands. And wash your hands. But I'm excited to see you guys. Tomorrow, we're going to take pictures. You got to be in a group to come because that's where the location and stuff at. Make sure you go on there and let them know if you're going to be eating dinner or lunch there. At first, I wasn't going to eat, but I guess I eat because it is a restaurant. So I'll be there. I cannot wait to see you guys. Now that don't exist for us. Listen, but wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Okay, guys. It was fun. Let me go. This was supposed to be 10 minutes, and we are 50 minutes in, okay? Toodles.